everyone, happy Wednesday. Please go back and look at Monday's video if you haven't had a chance to yet. I've been including different practice problems that students requested from the Google form from the checkpoint from last week. So this week we're working on comparing costs. We're also reviewing how to divide decimals, and we're having a chance to look at more rate problems. And so I hope that this is helpful. You can continue to sign up for Zoom office hours and tutoring sessions if you want extra practice. All right, we're going to get started today with a few announcements. Here is our agenda for today. Together we'll work through our warm-up, look at examples of comparing costs, and I'll show you your checkpoint for Wednesday. Reminder of Zoom meetings that are happening. Please check out the link on Google Classroom to sign up for extra tutoring with me if you need it. There also are lunch clubs that are happening today. You can find these in the weekly bulletin. There's also one-on-one and other Mandarin lessons happening at 2 and 2:30. So if you're in that class, please make sure that you're checking out your Google Classroom. Here's a reminder of what lunch clubs are happening. Again, you can find this in the weekly bulletin. All right, our warm-up today is about shampoo. So sometimes when I go to the store and I'm buying shampoo, I see that there's some bottles that are just sitting by themselves, and there's other bottles that are in a package of 2. And I'm always curious what's the better deal, but it's hard to compare because some of them you're just getting 1 bottle and some you're getting 2. So it makes sense if 2 bottles are more expensive, but I'm always curious, like, what would it cost if I was just buying 1, and is that actually cheaper? So I want to figure out, if I buy a pack of 2 shampoos from the store, how much each bottle costs. So I'm figuring out what is $4.99 divided by 2. Again, this is a good chance for us to practice dividing with decimals. So let's go through this long division problem. I'm going to start by doing it as if it's 2 going into 499, and then I'll add my decimal point back in at the end. Something that's really important to remember is that you need to be staying organized and being really clear about lining up your numbers so you don't lose track of where the decimal goes. Step 1 is I think, how many times does 2 go into 4? 2 times 2 is 4. I subtract and I get a 0. And then I drop down the 9. 2 goes into 9 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Bring down the next 9. 2 goes into 19. Let's see, I know 2 times 6 is 12. I know 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 9 is 18. And 2 times 10 would be 20. Okay, that's too much, so I know I'm going to try 9 times 2 gives us 18. Okay, so now I have a remainder. There's a couple things that I can do with this remainder. One is I could write it up here as like remainder 1, but it's a little unclear to me what that actually means. So I'm going to figure out what the next number would be. That's going to help me figure out if I should round this up or down. So bringing down the 10, and basically anytime you have a decimal, you can add on zeros at the end and the number stays the same. So now I can do 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Oops. And now we have a remainder of 0. That helps me because when I put my decimal point back up here at the end, I can see that I have 2.495. I just am going to use the first 2 numbers, since for money we just use the dollar amount and 2 numbers for the amount of cents. The 5 tells me to round up. So instead of 2.49, I would round up, so that would make it $2.50. So I say the answer, it costs $2.50 for 1 shampoo. That would make it easier for me to then compare that cost to other shampoos I see in the store. Let's look at the next practice problem. All right, so I went to grocery outlet and I was trying to get lemons to make lemonade. So I need a lot of lemons, and I realized that I have two options for what I can buy. One option is I can get a bag of 10 lemons all together, and that costs $3.50. Or I could just buy each lemon one at a time for 50 cents each. So I'm trying to figure out which is cheaper. Please pause the video and solve this problem on your own first. I'm going to show how to solve this problem using unit rates. I already know for option 2 how much it is per lemon, so I'm going to figure out how much it would cost per lemon for the bag. 10 goes into 3 0 times. So I'm going to go and see if I can do 10 going to 35. 10 goes into 35 3 times. 3 times 10 is 30. So if I subtract, I get 5. Bring down the 0. 10 goes into 50 5 times. 5 times 10 is 50. 0. So now I can line up my decimals, and I get that for option 1, the bag of lemons, each lemon is 35 cents. Option 2, if I buy each lemon on its own, it's 50 cents. So option 1, buying the bag of lemons, makes more sense. The bag of lemons is cheaper per lemon. It also is possible that you chose to figure out how much this would cost if you bought 10 lemons. You should be able to get the same answer. I'm just showing how to do division for this problem because it feels like this is a good review that multiple students were asking for. If you have questions, please make sure that you've shown your work the way that you solved it. You can take a picture and email it to me if you want feedback, or I'm happy to meet with you on Zoom to talk about how you solved this problem. All right, let's take a look at our checkpoint for this week. Our checkpoint for this week, I'm super excited about this because it includes the weekly bulletin. So if you haven't had a chance to look at the weekly bulletin yet, it should be in your email from Mr. Fector. So look at the weekly bulletin and then find the slide that's talking about Beacon. Once you find this slide, the first step is that you're going to figure out how many minutes per day Beacon offers power hour. So that is each of these yellow sections are power hour times. So how many minutes do they offer per day? And then you can see that there's 5 days that they offer power hour. So the next step is you're figuring out how many minutes they offer power hour per week. Again, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Once you're finished, you will submit your checkpoints on Google Classroom. They're due by Friday, so make sure that you're doing all of your work in your notebook and then submitting those answers by Friday for feedback. I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.